They say absolute power corrupts, but they never met someone with their hand on a hidden valve. When Margaret Voss, our HOA queen with a vendetta, ordered me to tear down the old bridge my grandfather built because it clashed with her resort's vibe, I gave her a nod and a smile. "Sure thing, Margaret," I said, "come as you please. But some bridges aren't just for crossing, they hide secrets. And when you mix petty tyranny with a farmer's know-how, you're begging for trouble. If you've ever tangled with an HOA gone rogue, drop a comment and tell me your worst story. This one's gonna grab you and not let go." I'm Nathan Harper, and I run a small farm in Clearview Pines, a quiet stretch outside Boise, Idaho. It's not much, just enough land to grow crops and keep my family's legacy alive. The heart of it all is Mirror Lake, a modest body of water, maybe 3 football fields across, that feeds my fields and, across the shore, fuels the $6 million Clearview Oasis Resort. That place is a playground for the rich 60 upscale suites, gourmet dining, a fake beach where guests sip martinis in overpriced swimsuits. Me? I'm in muddy boots, fixing pipes and hauling compost. 2 worlds, 1 lake, and a whole lot of bad blood. It was a chilly September morning in 2023 when Margaret Voss rolled up to my farmhouse in a sleek black Audi. She's 42, all sharp suits and sharper attitude, clutching a tablet like it's her scepter. As president of the Clearview Pines HOA, she runs the resort side of the lake like her personal empire. "Mr. Harper," she said, her voice dripping with fake politeness, "we need to discuss your bridge." I was patching a gate, sweat on my brow, and glanced up. "The bridge? What's wrong with it?" She flipped open her tablet with a flourish. "It violates our community aesthetic standards. It's an eyesore, lowering property values for the entire lakefront." She gestured toward the resort, gleaming in the distance. "Guests complain it ruins their view." I set down my wrench, staring her down. "You're kidding, right? My granddad built that bridge in '92. It's on my land, and it's not hurting a soul." Margaret's eyes didn't flicker. "You're mistaken. Our updated guidelines require HOA approval for any structure visible from the resort. Your bridge never got it." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "Visible? My granddad died on that bridge, Margaret. Heart attack while fishing. I was 16, found him myself." Her face stayed stone cold. "I'm sorry for your loss, but sentiment doesn't trump community rules. You have 30 days to remove it." She drove off, leaving me fuming. I sat on the bridge that night, the weathered wood creaking under me, and remembered Granddad's words. "This bridge ain't just for walking, Nathan." As a kid, I thought he was joking. Now I wondered. I crawled underneath, flashlight in hand, and found a rusted metal plate on the center beam gears, a lever, all hidden under decades of grime. A bit of oil, a cautious turn, and I heard it, water rushing somewhere close. I sprinted to the lake's edge and saw a channel spilling water into my fields. "What the hell?" I muttered. What had Granddad buried here? That evening, I dug through his old files and found a folder labeled Lake Control, Emergency Only. Inside were blueprints, hand-drawn and precise. In '92, Granddad had built a drainage system into the bridge. If the lake rose too high, threatening the farm, he could open a valve to divert water to the fields. One lever, total control. The kicker? Our family owned the lake's water rights. When the resort's founder, Victor Voss Margaret's husband, bought the opposite shore in '95, they agreed to share the water, but legally, it was ours. I tested the system, turning the lever 3 clicks. Water poured out, dropping the lake an inch in minutes. I shut it fast. "Holy," I whispered. Fully open, it could empty the lake in hours. Margaret wanted my bridge gone. She was about to learn what it was really hiding. I called my buddy Tom Reed, a local lawyer who's been navigating Idaho property law since we were kids sneaking beers by the lake. "Tom, check my water rights and bring some cameras. Things are about to get wild." He showed up the next morning, his beat-up Jeep rattling down my drive. "Nathan, you're not gonna believe this," he said, handing me a stack of papers. "Your granddad was a genius. You own this lake outright, water, rights, everything. The resort's agreement only lets them use it for reasonable business needs." I grinned. "So, I can do whatever I want." Tom nodded, then followed me under the bridge. I turned the lever, and water hissed through the channel. "Was your granddad a dam engineer?" Tom asked, wide-eyed. "Just a farmer with a brain," I said. Built this to save the farm from floods. Tom whistled. It's legal. You're untouchable. Margaret didn't let up. She sent letters threatening $1,200 daily fines if the bridge stayed. A photographer snapped shots of it from every angle, like it was a crime scene. I played nice. Yes, Mrs. Boss, I'll take it down. Just need time to reroute my irrigation. Total lie, but she bought it, though her eyes screamed suspicion. I studied the resort's rhythm: morning yoga by the lake, afternoon jet skis, evening wine tastings. They pumped thousands of gallons daily for pools, fountains, even their eco-friendly spa. Without the lake, they'd be toast. One night, I spotted a dark SUV idling near my property, 200 feet from the bridge. Footprints appeared near the valve the next day. Margaret was sniffing around. Then Victor Voss showed up, nervous and out of place in his pressed slacks. Nathan, can we talk? Margaret's intense. Maybe we paint the bridge, make it fancy? I raised an eyebrow. You run this by her? Before he could answer, Margaret's Audi screeched up. Victor, get in the car, she barked. To me, she hissed. 20 days left, Harper. Don't play games. Victor shuffled off, head down. She owned him, and he knew it. I started feeling the weight of what I was planning. At the market, I overheard resort workers say young dad worried about his newborn, an older woman scared she'd never find another job. These weren't Margaret's rich guests. They were locals, folks I saw at the diner, the gas station. Draining the lake wouldn't just hit her, it'd crush them. But then I thought of Margaret's sneer, her dismissal of Granddad's legacy, and my resolve hardened. She wants a fight, I told Tom. I'm giving her one. He set up cameras around the lake, 4 angles, crystal clear. I hired a demo crew as a decoy, telling them I'd handle the bridge myself. Just clean up after, I said, slipping them cash. On day 30, I woke at dawn, the air crisp and clear. No clouds, perfect for the cameras. I ate breakfast, shaved, pulled on a clean flannel. If this was going down, I'd look respectable doing it. At 8 a.m., the crew rolled in, tools ready. Margaret's Audi arrived at 8:30, her smile smug as sin. Morning, Harper. Ready to do what's right? I nodded. As promised, the bridge is history today. She blinked, surprised by my calm. I'll watch to make sure it's done properly. Victor pulled up, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. I faced the bridge, heart heavy. One thing before we start, I said. My granddad built this with his own hands. Every plank, every nail. It's not just a Bridgeites family. Margaret rolled her eyes. Save the sob story. This is about progress. I nodded, slow and deliberate. Progress. Got it. I signaled the crew to start on the beams. Wood splintered, nails groaned. Each blow stung, like losing Granddad all over again. Margaret watched, practically gloating. See? Not so hard to let go. I forced a smile. You're right. Progress takes sacrifice. 30 minutes in, only the center remained the valve's hiding spot. I'll finish this myself, I told the crew. Margaret frowned. Why? I lied smooth. It's tied to my irrigation. Gotta be careful. She bought it. I gripped the sledgehammer, my pulse pounding. The lake breeze carried the smell of wet earth. A heron glided across the water, graceful and unaware. Granddad's voice echoed. They always come back. Nathan. My hand shook. Margaret's words cut through. Personal attachment doesn't matter. That did it. Sorry, Granddad. I whispered and swung. The wood cracked, and the lever clicked beneath. One more swing, and the valve opened fully. For progress, right, Mrs. Voss? I said, voice cold. She nodded, clueless. For the greater good. I cleared debris, keeping my face neutral. The lake was already dropping, subtle at first. 20 minutes later, Victor squinted across the water. Margaret, is the lake lower? She scoffed. Don't be stupid. But across the shore, resort staff were panicking. Boats sat crooked, docks exposed. A pump sputtered, choking on air. I dusted my hands. Well, I'm done. Thanks for the oversight, Mrs. Voss. She snapped. Where are you going? I grinned. Home. Job's finished. From my porch, coffee in hand, I watched the lake shrink 2 feet down, then 3. Guests murmured, pointing at the receding shore. Margaret stood frozen at the bridge side, her triumph souring. An hour in, the lake was down 4 feet. Boats were grounded, their hulls stuck in mud. The resort's infinity pool was dry, its pump fried. Staff scrambled, guests raged. My phone buzzed Margaret. Harper, what the hell did you do? I played dumb. Took down the bridge, like you wanted. The lake's draining, she screamed. Maybe it's a leak, I said, all innocence. You got what you asked for. 2 hours in, the lake was a shadow 6 feet down. The resort's restaurant, once lakefront, faced a swamp. Guests stormed the front desk, demanding refunds. Hashtags like Mirror Lake Mess and HOA Disaster went viral, with drone footage of the vanishing lake racking up millions of views. News vans swarmed, locals gawked, and influencers live-streamed their meltdowns. We paid for luxury, not a mud pit, one sobbed to 80,000 followers. By noon, the lake was nearly gone, a stinking mire of dead fish and trash. Swans flapped in confusion. Margaret called again. Stop this now. I laughed. Stop what? I'm at home, relaxing. She was speechless, trapped by her own demands. Tom showed up, pale. Nathan, this is insane. Your granddad built a weapon. I nodded. And Margaret lit the fuse. The resort was chaos, guests fleeing, staff quitting, Victor pleading with reporters for technical difficulties. Margaret hid behind her car, dodging cameras. The stock of Voss hospitality tanked in real time. She roared up to my house, makeup streaked, hair a mess. You monster. You killed a $6 million business, 60 jobs, the whole town. I leaned on my porch rail. I removed an eyesore, like you said. Community standards, right? Her voice broke. What do you want? I paused, savoring it. Respect. She choked out, fine. I respect you. Fix it. I raised an eyebrow. Do you? Here's the deal. Public apology tomorrow, 9 a.m., to the staff, guests, media. Admit you were wrong to trash my family's legacy. Resign as HOA president. Never touch my land again. She hesitated, pride warring with panic. Resign? That's my life. I shrugged. Your call. She nodded, defeated. Fine. I'll do it. But at 9 a.m., Margaret was gone. Victor found me, broken. She left at dawn. Packed her stuff, ditched me, the resort, everything. Left a note. You fix it. The crowd workers, locals, cameras waited for an apology that never came. Margaret had chosen pride over accountability, leaving me holding the bag. The lake bed was a rotting disaster. The resort bankrupt, 60 families jobless. The EPA was circling, environmentalists screaming, the media painting me as a terrorist. At the feed store, a woman spat. My daughter lost her job because of you. The barber turned me away. You killed our tourism. Even Tom backed off. I can't defend you if the feds come. Then Victor dropped a bomb. Margaret was planning to bolt anyway. The resort's been bleeding cash for years. Your stunt gave her an out, lame you. Walk free. I sat, stunned. She'd played me like a fiddle, and now I was the villain. Staring at Granddad's photo, I whispered, I screwed up. Old man. Used your gift for revenge, not protection. I could have run-sold the farm, started over. But this was Harper land. I had to fix it. I called a press conference. I let anger cloud my judgment. I hurt people who didn't deserve it. I'm making this right. I cashed out my savings, mortgaged the farm, and hired engineers to restore the lake. I reached out to the EPA, environmental groups, and locals, offering full cooperation. I hired every laid-off resort worker I could, paying them to clean debris, plant reeds, monitor water quality. It wasn't just pipes and pumps, it was trust, rebuilt one handshake at a time. The community watched, skeptical but curious. A young mom, one of the workers I'd overheard, approached. Heard you're hiring for cleanup. We need the work. I put her on the crew, and she trained others. An older cook became my go-between, linking workers to new jobs. 3 months in, the lake was refilling, cleaner, and deeper. Locals started pitching in, seeing my sweat and blisters. Victor stayed, surprising everyone. Margaret's gone. You're trying, so I'm helping. He sold the resort land to a conservation trust, funding retraining for his staff. We planned a public park sustainable, open to all. Then Margaret came back, strutting in a new BMW, dripping in jewelry. Playing savior now, Harper? She sneered at the restoration site. I stayed calm, fixing my mess. She laughed. Your mess? I'm clean. But the workers stopped, glaring. A cook shouted, Where were you when we lost everything? Margaret waved him off. Not my problem. The crowd turned, their anger now hers. She'd misjudged them, they weren't her pawns anymore. You think you won? She hissed at me. You tanked a $6 million dream. I met her eyes. I made a mistake. You ran. That's the difference. The crowd nodded, their unity a wall she couldn't breach. She stormed off, this time for good. The headline read, Community Reclaims Lake, Rejects Runaway HOA. 5 months later, we opened Mirror Lake Park. Families picnicked, kids fished, elders walked trails. The resort's shell was now a community center, teaching kids about wetlands. I married Ellie, a biologist who'd guided our restoration, and adopted her son. Standing on the new bridge stronger, built to last, I told him. The old bridge linked shores. This one links us. A year on, Clearview Pines thrives, a model for community-led conservation. I consult on lake projects nationwide, but Granddad's lesson sticks. Power isn't destruction, it's creation. So what's your take? Was I a hero for standing up to Margaret, or a reckless fool who hurt innocents? Should water rights trump community needs, or is shared stewardship the answer? Did Margaret deserve her fall, or was she just a product of a broken system? Comment below, hit like if you felt this, and subscribe for more stories of fighting the good fight or the messy one.